Permissions determine the actions which a user is allowed to perform within Confluence. In this tutorial, we will focus on global permissions. You will learn about the two different tiers of Confluence administration, setting global permissions for users and groups, and enabling anonymous access. First, let's take a conceptual look at how permissions work in Confluence. There are three levels of permissions: global, space, and page. This tutorial focuses on global permissions. There are separate tutorials on space permissions and page restrictions. In order to assign global permissions, you must already have the Confluence administrator or system administrator permission. You can then assign global permissions to groups, individual users, and anonymous users. The first system administrator is defined during installation. That user has the system administrator permission and is a member of the Confluence administrators group. Let me explain the difference between a system administrator and a Confluence administrator. Users with the system administrator permission can perform all the Confluence administrative functions, including the ones which the Confluence administrator permission does not allow. These include setting the general configuration options, backup administration, and others. For full details, refer to the document called Global Permissions Overview at confluence.atlassian.com. The two-tier administration is useful when you want to delegate some administrative privileges to project managers or team leaders. You can give the Confluence administrator permission to users who should be able to perform most administrative functions, but should not be able to perform functions that can compromise the security of the Confluence system. Granting the system administrator or Confluence administrator permission to a user will not automatically grant the user access to all spaces in the site. These permissions will only give access to the administration console. Be aware, however, that users with the system administrator permission can add themselves to the Confluence administrators group and become a super user. Now let's take a look at setting global permissions in Confluence. I'm logged in as a user with the system administrator permission. To update global permissions, you need to navigate to the Browse menu in your menu bar and select Confluence Admin. If a user does not have the Confluence administrator or system administrator permission, they will not see this option in the drop-down menu. Once I am in the Confluence administration console, I just select Global Permissions in the Security section of the left-hand panel. The View Global Permissions screen will appear. On this screen, you can assign permissions to groups of users and individual users. Note that you can create groups of users by selecting Manage Groups in the Security section of the left-hand panel. Click the Edit Permissions button. When you install Confluence, a default Confluence users group is created. This group contains all registered users. A registered user is someone with a Confluence username that allows them to log in. Taking a look at the most important permissions, the Can Use permission is the most basic permission that allows users to access the site. Users with this permission count towards the number of users allowed by your license. Granting a user or group the personal space permission will let them create a personal space. Users with this permission will see a Create Personal Space item in the user menu in the menu bar. Users without this permission will not see that item. The Create Space permission allows users to create new spaces within your Confluence site. When a space is created, the creator automatically has the admin permission for that space and can perform space-wide administrative functions. Users with this permission will see a Create Space icon and link on their dashboard. Those that do not have the permission will not see this. It's important to note that granting a user the Can Use permission will allow them to log into Confluence. By default, the members of the Confluence users group have this permission. When you create a new user, they're added to this group automatically. Upon login, these users will be taken to the dashboard where they'll be able to see all the spaces for which they have been given the permission to view. Each space has its own set of permissions, which are covered in the Space Permissions tutorial. Lastly, let's cover anonymous access. You can allow visitors to view and edit content in your Confluence site without logging in. Anonymous users are not counted towards your license count. This is useful when you have content that you want to share with a lot of people, but only need to give a small set of those people the permission to edit that content. For example, Atlassian's online documentation is powered by Confluence. We've enabled anonymous access so all of our customers can view our documentation, but not edit it. When anonymous access is enabled, visitors are taken straight to the dashboard and bypass the login screen. Within each individual space, you will need to specify if anonymous users can view the space, and if they have any content creation permissions for that space. Any space which has not granted anonymous users the view permission will not be shown in the spaces list on the dashboard. Registered users with accounts can log in by clicking on the login link in the top right of the menu bar. If you want to allow visitors to create their own accounts, you can add a sign-up link to the menu bar and login screen by enabling public sign-up under the General Configuration settings in the Confluence Administration console. Note that you must have the System Administration permission or be a member of the Confluence Administrators group to perform this action.